Alright, it's been a while, but it's finally time to get back to work on this racing mower project. So here's a rundown of the stuff I got done since last time we filmed. First of all, I finished supporting these rear bushings on these A-arms or control arms or whatever the heck they're called. And those were already held in the exact right spot by this front bushing. So all I had to do was basically just cardboard up some shapes and then make those in metal and weld them on. So not very complicated. And then to get these shocks in the right place, first thing I did was pick an arbitrary distance of, whatever I thought looked about right, and then measure from this little notch, and then use this hardened edge of the caliper to make a little arc there from this notch to whatever arbitrary distance I wanted. Then pick another arbitrary distance, do the same thing from the bottom here, and that gave me precisely where to put this hole, both on this side and that side. And as long as they're the same, it doesn't matter. That's why the distances were arbitrary. So with those both in the right spot, just welded the original shock nut that was with this shock. So with those in place, I got a couple of these old scissor jacks that I had laying around and set them up underneath each arm and set them to where they were both the exact same distance off the ground. And then came over here on this side, because this is going to be the one there I've got a lot less room to work with because this engine is offset. And I got the absolute maximum angle I possibly could without running into this casting of the engine there. As you can see, it's kind of tight, but it's not touching. And that ended up being about 30 degrees. So I just built this up around here and got it tacked in place. And then I used my phone as a level to basically copy that angle from this side over to this side so that this shock was at the same angle, and then built around there. So basically, if these are both off the ground in equal distance and both of these are at the same angle, everything else should be exactly the same, which means the front suspension will be even and mirrored perfectly and stuff. And so from there, it was just a matter of doing every possible little thing I can to make this as stiff as possible, because these things had a habit of squeezing in when they get pressure on them. As you can see, it's not the most robust, but it should be good enough. And so there's that. Now what we're left with is steering, which is going to be fun. Right, so I got to cobble together some kind of steering system using this old tie rod from some four-wheeler or another. These old but unused tie rod ends that were the wrong part, but they weren't worth returning. This old steering linkage off of that, what once was a John Deere that I picked up for free. And that assortment of bits that I took off of the mower deck and other assorted nonsense from this. So I'm going to set this so that it's kind of just about right-ish at 5 turns out on both of these, so that I have some adjustability both directions. Hey, subscribe so I can get a bench grinder, why don't you? So today I learned these little copper pipe cutters actually also work on steel. Handy. So I found this random bracket that was from somewhere on this machine originally, and it just so happens to be the exact right length to tie these two tie rods together, which is rather convenient. So now, since you want these pivots to be directly in line with your control arm pivot in order to minimize bump steer, I'm gonna have to chop out a little piece of this frame here to get those up high enough. Now for the rest of the steering, I'm going to use these handy L brackets that were holding on the mower deck before. So that's about how I think it's going to look. Just got to run pivots up here, of course. And this one, I'm going to run it all the way through, stick another tab off of here so that the steering linkage can grab onto it, and then I'll have steering.
it looks like my weld broke.
Oh, dang, sorry, I broke your weld.
Man, I didn't think that it was that weak.
It went up against that, and I was steering in the opposite direction, and it pulled itself that direction, and I'm sure that's what did it.
Well, I'm gonna have to fix that.
At least that can be put back together.
So final thoughts. I can tell you one thing. It's way more stable than it used to be. I can full throttle it and turn, and it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't even think about tipping. The suspension, for stiffness, it's just about perfect, I think. It sits low enough so that you got a little bit of negative camber there, just about enough. I have to align it so the toe is a little bit better. Even if we did, break that weld there, well, he did, but it's still, I think, successful day. What did it feel like when you were riding it?
It was fun to drive. I forgot how much power it has when you put the CVT in full shift and then you hit the gas. It would be a lot more fun to do that if the transaxle still had oil, so I could go full speed.
Yeah, one thing we didn't tell you is somewhere along the way, transaxle just decided to explode. Right there. If you can focus on it, there. Little chunk just boing, popped right out of there. I don't know why.
Fortunately, JB Weld exists.
Yeah. So next time, I wanted to tear into that thing anyway, so, that's one of the things I was going to do no matter what. That was exciting, guys. We're finally, hopefully, going to move forward on this project. We've been basically working on it once and then waiting a year and then working on it once and then waiting a year for the last couple of years. If we can keep going, it's going to be a lot of fun. What's up next? Up next, fixing a transaxle and more speed. More speed. Yep. So stick around, like, comment, subscribe, show it to your friends, show it to your grandma, show it to your stuffed animals, all that stuff. And we will see you guys in the next video.